Hi, welcome to Godly Play with Miss Leah, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys on this third Sunday after Easter. So we are going to be telling our story. You can use your brains and remember what we've already talked about the last couple of weeks. I'm going to review some of that, but it's time for us to get ready. So if you're at home, just take a moment and get ready to worship. And we'll tell our story together. I am missing you guys very, very much. I cannot wait to get to be in a classroom with you guys and see the things that you create after our story and our response time, and to see and hear all the things that you want to say in our wondering times together. I'm missing our wondering times probably the most. So I have, you can't see them, but Lucy and Madeline are in the room, so I have just a little bit of an audience today. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? All right. After Jesus died, on the Sunday, there were the women, and they went to the tomb where Jesus' body had been laid. And they brought with them spices and oils to anoint Jesus' body. And while they were on the way, they were wondering to one another, what will we do when we get there? How will we roll the stone away from the door? But then when they got there, the stone had already been rolled away. And as they looked into the tomb, what they saw was nothing. Jesus was gone, really gone. All there was the white linen that his body had been wrapped in. And so the women ran back to where the disciples were, and they told them what they had seen. And Peter, being Peter, got up and ran towards the tomb, and John followed him. John got there first, and he looked in. And when Peter got there, he went inside. And they saw nothing too. Jesus was gone. They could feel his absence, and they didn't know where he was. So they went back to tell the others. But Mary Magdalene stayed at the tomb, and she began to cry. When she turned around, there was someone there she thought was the gardener. And he asked her, "Why are you weeping?" And she said, "If you know where they've taken him, take me there. I don't know where Jesus is." And then the man said her name. He said, "Mary." And then Mary knew who it was, and she said, "Rabbi, teacher." And she started to touch him. And then Jesus told her to go back to where the others were and to wait. On that same day, two of Jesus' disciples were walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus, which is about 7 miles. As they were walking, they were talking about all the things that had happened. They were confused, and they were trying to make sense of it all. They were remembering how Jesus had died, and now they were remembering about the empty tomb, and they wondered where Jesus was. While they were walking, a stranger came up beside them, and they didn't know he was there until he asked them, "What are you talking about?" And they looked at him and they said, "Could it be that you are the only person that doesn't know what has happened in Jerusalem these 3 days?" And they began to tell him about the cross and about how Jesus had died and been buried, and they told him about the empty tomb. And then the stranger said, "You are foolish and slow of heart." And he began to open the scriptures to them. And he reminded them about how Moses had led God's people across the water into freedom. And how when they were trapped in their freedom, God gave them the 10 best ways so that they would know what to do. And when they were trapped in exile, how one of the prophets said, "A child will lead you." And how Isaiah had talked about how someone would have to come and suffer and die for their sins so that they could truly, truly live. By this time, they had made it all the way to Emmaus. The miles had gone by quickly. The stranger began to go on ahead, but the disciples who were with him asked him to join them for supper. And so they went in, and as they began to have their meal together, the stranger took the bread and he broke it. And as he offered it to them, their eyes were opened. And suddenly they knew who it was that they had been with. Then Jesus was gone. And the disciples went all the way back to Jerusalem to tell the others. On this third Sunday, we remember the disciples, all of Jesus' followers who were gathered together in Jerusalem. They were afraid. They thought that maybe the soldiers would come and arrest them just like they had arrested Jesus. And so they were all together and the doors were locked. When suddenly they heard a voice say, "Peace be with you." And they looked, and there was Jesus. At first they thought he was a ghost, but then he began to speak with them, and he ate some fish. And then he talked to them and opened the scriptures to them so that they might understand. Now Thomas wasn't there. And so when the followers of Jesus told Thomas what they had seen, he did not believe them. He had doubts deep in his soul, and he said, "I will not believe unless I can see Jesus and touch him for myself." 8 days later, they were gathered again in the same place with the doors closed. And this time, Thomas was there too. And suddenly, again, they heard a voice that said, "Peace be with you." And then Jesus made his way right towards Thomas. And he looked Thomas right in the eye. And he said, "Thomas, touch me." And Thomas looked at Jesus and he fell to his knees and he said, "My Lord and my God." And he believed. Jesus looked at him for a while and he said, "You believe because you have seen. But blessed are those who believe who have never seen." And then he was gone. Can you guys see my cat in this? That's Scout. My girls think it's funny that Scout is in this room. Well, I hope that you guys are getting to know Jesus in a new way, and that we are remembering that Easter truly does change everything. And I wonder if you could think about what it would be like to be one of the followers of Jesus who didn't quite understand all that had happened, and how their minds must have been stretching and growing as they tried to make sense of everything that had happened. Sometimes we are so familiar with the story of Jesus that it's hard to put ourselves in the place of the people who didn't know and who are really living it. So this week, I just want to challenge you to think about what it would have been like to be Thomas, or to be Mary Magdalene, or to be one of the disciples that were with Jesus on the way to Emmaus. What would it have been like to be one of the first to see Jesus alive again and to know him in a new way? Well, you guys have a blessed week. I would love to hear from some of you. So if you want to make a comment after the video, I would love to know how you are doing. So I will talk to you all soon. So long.